Aloha mai kako, it's Kapa Hawaiian FM, another edition of the Kapacafe with us, jaznkaea, on this beautiful Aloha Friday. Mahalo to our sponsor, Kona Grill House, Ryan Fujikawa and the gang. You can still get those takeout orders. Call them at 323-3512, and they'll bring it to your car outside. Specials every day. Mahalo nui to Kona Grill House. Joining us today at the Kapacafe, ladies and gentlemen, multi-nahoku Hano Award winner, Mark Yamanaka. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, what's
Aloha,
up,
gang.
huh?
Aloha.
I still cannot get used to how young you look with your short hair. No, serious kind, bro.
Hey, you know what? With all this quarantine, I no more hairdresser, so it's growing out. That's been a challenge for me because, like, I don't know if I like slick them back, side comb them.
Hey, I think since you have this time, you should try this. Hey, you can always grow it back. Just don't go on camera until it grows back if you don't like it.
You know what? I so maka'u of doing that.
Oh, hey, but you know what, Mark? You have hair. You have beautiful hair.
Yeah, you have hair, so use it while you got it, bro.
Yes, yes.
Do you know, Mark, during this quarantine time, I would say, let's just go step back before quarantine. Pre-quarantine, you welcomed a very special gift into your life. Tell us about that.
Yeah, my wife and I had our first child together, Ellie, that back in December 3rd, and she came late, just like me. I come late. I think she enjoyed her accommodations in Mama's home. So she was, the doctor was like, oh, October is going to be kind of the time. And we're like, oh, okay. October came, went, and then November, we're like, hello. So, there were so many gigs like I denied because I wanted to be around, obviously. And
Yeah.
so that was a challenging part, but she came December. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
But can you give her full name and mana'o behind the name?
Well, yeah, so her name is Ellie Ann Pereira Yamanaka. And, my wife's great-grandmother is named Olehia. It's a Spanish name. And her friends called her Ellie for short. And Ann is kind of a family middle name on her side. So, and since she's the only child, we decided to give her her last name, Pereira. My wife's the only child, only daughter. So we throw in the Pereira in the mix. So
How's Leilani's dad, bro?
good. He's over here quarantining.
Bro, Leilani's dad is like a dude I hung out with in high school.
Totally, right down the alley.
Bro. Like I sit with him, I'm like, bro, did we go to school together? Are you worried at all that your baby is gonna have Bay Area DNA?
Okay, look. So I'm sitting in the nursery right now. This is my baby's nursery. I'm on the rocker.
Yeah.
And because it's so light, plenty light in the room, we have to put up on one blanket.
Yeah! Yeah! I love it.
We can turn them into the black hole in here.
Oh, I love it. So, Matt, since you've been home, quarantine, we've been enjoying your live videos.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, what does it feel like to be a musician in a time where you can't go out and gig?
You know what?
Not just money-wise, I'm talking about like the release itself.
It's challenging, man. It's I'm really an optimistic person, but yeah, I mean, lucky I get my wife, my newborn, and all the rest of the family to kind of keep me grounded and sane. But from going to almost every weekend doing something, performing on stage, to basically, I don't like to use the word stuck at home, but being at home, and that's the new thing.
Yeah.
It's been very challenging, I can see, with many of the other artists. And I think, the interesting thing of how we've used social media to continue to share the music. People are still continuing to follow you, and they want more Mark Yamanaka music. When this is all said and done, and heaven knows, because we're on Hawaii Island, when that's going to happen, what do you have in store for the fall of 2020?
Man, to be real honest with you, I just really considered this year a wash as far as like being an entertainer or performer, and just kind of just accepted the fact that this is the time to really just malama home, and just and kind of appreciate the fact that we get to be home, because it's so tough being a musician and trying to make a living and go here, go there, and with the newborn too now, it's really nice to be able to see Ellie grow up right before our eyes without being on FaceTime or stuff like that. So I kind of scared travel. Like you said, heaven knows, we don't know when this is all gonna wash away, but I even if it's in like 3 months from now, I still feel funny traveling, going on the airplane, and so yeah, my thing is kind of like, this is 2020 is a time to be home. So
yeah, I agree. And once you make that decision, you're not all feel so much better, because you know how to plan accordingly.
Yes.
Now, of course, you have your days, right, where you're probably laying in bed, right, laying next to them, and you're like, man, this is like the best. Like, I'm home. And then there's got to be some days where you go like, man, I wish we could go back to work. You again? That's why Kaea and I are doing this interview separately. No, I'm just kidding. But like, if you're together a lot all the time, and then now because you can't gig, you're home, there has to be a kind of like a way to keep separated in the household as well. Kaea and I are fortunate to have 2 separate workspaces in the house. So I can literally like go, hey, I'll see you tonight.
Yeah.
Well, how are you? And then, we just said stage up and downstairs. Right. What are you guys doing to kind of, not be joined at the hip throughout the house?
We've been fortunate to be in a more than average size house too. The house is very wide, so she can hang out in a bedroom. I can be in the other bedroom across the house, and as far as that, but I think we really enjoy each other's company. But the lives is my way to kind of keep it, Yeah. That's my avenue right there.
A lot of people are saying that a lot of things are going to change because of this. Lifestyle is going to change. People are going to kind of maybe keep things a lot of the way it is right now. Do you think music-wise things are going to change? Because you remember there was an era where guys were flying 7-piece bands every weekend all over the place. And then it was like, we can only afford 5. We can only afford 3. Now is it going to be, we don't can afford you to come in. Can you just live stream us and we're going to play your video? You know what I mean? Do you think that it's going to kind of come to that where venues are going to be like, we kind of did without you? You know what I mean? Maybe we could do without you, or use this technology to keep it the way, you know what I mean? Are you come to that?
Yeah, it's it's such a kind of look deep into that. It's like kind of discouraging, but we at some point we got to kind of accept the way things are and evolve and kind of adapt to the way things are. But hopefully it doesn't get to that point where it's like, we only perform behind a phone or camera. But baby's crying, but
but I also Mark, you guys, the Hawaiian music is different though, because I believe that there's a relationship thing that happens when the artist is singing, and there's face to face, and there, that is a whole cultural thing where we all get together and we listen to Hawaiian music.
I think that's our benefit, is it's cultural.
Totally.
There's a cultural movement there where people want to gather. They want to enjoy some great Hawaiian music. That's my belief, that it's going to come back, and it's going to come back even stronger.
Yeah, I think each and every one of us who is involved in this, whether you're a fan, you're a performer, you're everything, you whatever you are, I think we, at some degree, took this for granted. Mm-hmm. And to have it almost to a point where it's non-existent, the whole social part, mm-hmm. being in one venue together and being able to enjoy each other's company, enjoy what's on stage, what's happening on stage. I think we're a little bit hurting inside because, that's no longer at this point.
Are you using this time to create new music, perhaps, for another?
We know your partners is recording.
Yeah. Well, they've been fortunate to have a studio in their room. Yeah. So, I try to write every day, and I write my ideas down. And for some reason, I think not being able to go out on a normal, I think that's been kind of a roadblock for me as far as creativity and experiences, and or even being away from home, missing family. The inspiration is, for me, hasn't been where I want it to be for writing. So it's hard to dig deep to kind of write poetically in that fashion, but I've been writing stuff. I've been trying to write a song for Ellie, but I've been kind of just writing things here and there.
So Ellie, so she's born in December, January, February, March, April, May, 5 months. Is she? I'm hoping she's sleeping through the night already.
She actually we put her down to sleep at 7:30 after her bath, and then she wakes up at 6:00 a.m. And that's perfect.
Be blessed, boo.
I know.
Be thankful.
I know.
Be thankful, bro.
I know how fortunate we are.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Wow. What are some of the things Ellie's doing now that she's 5 months?
She's doing raspberries, which is the that stuff.
In your pico? In your pico? In your pico? Say did that in my pico. And then I would say, smell your lips now.
Take off the lint.
Yeah.
Too much information.
Hey, Mark, real quick, man. We're doing this interview with you the week of finding out that Hawaii's probably greatest entertainer just passed in Willie K. What did Willie mean to you, bro?
Man, you know what? It takes me back to when I don't know how old I was, but we're all with the family and the uncles and the aunties and just kicking back, and I remember being in Kapa, and that's to me, and for some reason it sticks in my memory. Like, that was the first time I heard Willie K's music, and that song was Yuku Ipo. And and that part where in the chorus he goes Yuku Ipo, and that's falsetto, and that kind of stuff just rang with me, resonated in me. And ever since, I was just a fan, and then when I started playing music and stuff and being intimidating, he's an intimidating gentleman, on and off the stage, but shucks, what a beast, man, as a musician. And he just commanded the stage, commanded his audience, and just it's was a joy to watch in person.
I truly believe Willie was our only rock star.
Oh, totally. The fact that he could do anything, and he could just come up with his ukulele. Yeah. I think Kaea was host a couple years back at the ukulele thing at the King Shop.
We were just talking about that, bro.
And I was reading through my memories on Facebook, and this one popped up, and I was like, for some reason, Willie, the way they scheduled the lineup, Willie was gonna be the headliner. And for some reason, he said, I cannot be the closing act. I gotta go back to Maui or something. So I was right before him prior to the lineup, and then because he had to finagle the lineup, I followed him.
Oh.
And I don't know if Kaya remembers this, but I was so nervous.
We were talking on the side of the stage, and you were like, I remember, because you were like,
yes,
man.
You don't even like play guitar after watching him, yeah?
Yes, and he has his ukulele, of course, and his I think it was just his bassist.
Yeah.
But two guys that produce all this sound, and then it was just me and my guitar, and the crowd is roused up by Willie, and I'm like, I think I was like looking at Kaya like, I gotta follow that. I don't like follow that. So that's
he's a rock star, and what I loved about him was he could be in a aloha shirt singing some traditional classic, and then the next day dressed like a biker gang member and just ripping, shredding to that level. Not shredding like a local boy trying to sound like that. Shredding like he belongs up there with the Claptons and you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that was one of my favorite. Scary back then, but I can look back and laugh and enjoy and share these memories with you folks. And I was just, and when he got sick, I think he was a little more down to earth. And we did the Pacific Tsunami Museum fundraiser in the last few years, and I just got to enjoy him on stage and in person, and being able to talk story with him and stuff. So he was.
Isn't it interesting? And I'll say this, and not in any disrespect to him in any way, shape, or form, but if you interview anybody and you ask them about their first meeting with Willie, it's usually he scared me, was mean to me. It wasn't always me too. My first experiences with Willie, I wanted to choke him. Honestly. And it wasn't until years later that I found out what an amazing dude he was, and that he was, sometimes guys at that caliber of talent have that to go with it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I think some people cannot handle that social part of being, in his case, famous.
Yeah.
I've seen the first encounter in person was at this spring fling at the Parker Ranch Rodeo Grounds.
Oh my gosh, I was there!
It was raining, cold, and I just saw Willie just told Pepe Romero, all my stuff is getting wet, and I was like, oh, poor Pepe. But I was there, and I was like, whoa, that was scary.
I told Jazz my first experience was we used to travel a lot with Lim family to Maui with the halau, and we were at a big, I want to say it's a big field, I want to say maybe a high school of some sort, big Shira concert, and he came in with a gang of motorcycle people. I was on the stage. That was the first experience I had, was seeing him like that on the stage. And I remember hearing those words that I've never heard profanity like that on the stage. I said, like, holy
moly! My funny experience with him, Mark, this is a funny one, bro. So it's the Sudden Rush Ku'e CD release party. And so they brought in everybody that was a guest, right?
Yes.
And so I'm in, at that time, I'm in the Sudden Rush backup band. So we're playing, and they're doing the song that they do with Willie. So Willie comes up, he's doing his song, and I'm on drums, and Lopaka Colon is on percussion. All right. So Willie, does the signal for us to stop, and then he starts ripping in a solo. And he just starts ripping for a good 2 minutes.
Ooh.
And Lopaka and I are looking at each other wondering, how are we going to come back in? And Willie knows we don't know how to come back in. So Willie stops, turns around, and goes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when we come back in, starts playing again. And we're playing and we're like this. It was embarrassing, but it was like one of those moments of like, okay, this is where the game now, you now have to step up as a musician by experiencing things.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm sure anybody who's ever had to share an experience with Willie step their game up immediately after.
Yeah. Live and learn moments. Huh?
Right.
That's so awesome. So Mark, now that we were talking about your lei theme for the next CD. Yeah, we power with the leis, I think. Or are you gonna get another lei, or you're gonna start doing the Ellie thing? Come on, let's think about that.
Yeah, we might have to create a private Zoom meeting for that next theme. But I think the lei theme is lava already.
I mean, your wife's name is Lei. Was that, how coincidental was that, I guess, right?
I know, yeah. I don't know how that occurred.
Because you started it before you got with her, right? The Lei thing, right?
Right before, yeah.
Just saying.
The stars kind of just aligned that way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Next album might just have to be simply Leilani.
Write it down, Mark. Write it down.
She wouldn't like that.
Hey, bro, we were talking about this the other day, that you were the first person outside of immediate family to find out that Kael was Hapai.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
And the way you found out about it was funny. This psychic wanted to do a feature on our show. And so we had her on speakerphone, and you were coming in to sign.
You know what happened? I came in to get the application for the barefoot golf tournament, I think.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, and so we wanted to prove that, like, okay, if you're a psychic, like, do something.
Yeah.
Speakerphone. And she said somebody on this phone call's gonna have a baby.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then we're like, and Kaea was what, a couple weeks, a month, maybe.
Yeah, I remember Kaya started crying, and I was like,
yeah.
What's going on?
So long story short, we put her on the show because apparently she was right. But yeah, that was funny because you were there. We're like, oh, by the way, Mark, we're having a baby.
I remember that.
I remember like trying and apologizing and feeling so bad that you had to hear this, and this is how you had to find out.
Nah, I'm real good about keeping secrets and
funny.
Being confidential. But yeah, that was funny.
That was funny.
So, Kapa, last question, man. So, as we're all home, everybody is snacking. What is your go-to snack in quarantine, man?
Lucky we just get the chest up version of this visual. Because, brah, man, yeah, it's been tough on the kino, brah.
Yeah.
So
not a sweets guy, but more recently I just been snacking on candy. I like this thing called the sweet tarts ropes. Used to be kazoozles.
Yes.
And that's And father-in-law and wife, they love sweets, and they're like door dashing Baskin Robbins, and I'm like, kind of win with these guys, man.
That's what I think has for us too, bro, has been the downfall of the quarantine. Is like, like I'm having hot chocolate and donuts at 12:30 in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But some of our favorite venues and restaurants are not open, so
yeah,
that's positive. But I wish I was in Kona eating Brian's food.
Right. Luckily, he's right down the block.
Right. In between the feedings with Brian, I tell you, no can stop. I always got to get my poke. I mean,
I don't blame you. It's so hard.
Right. If I know she was at Brian's and she comes home with no food, brah, like she'll be like, oh, I just came back from Brian's. I don't say, what'd you do? I don't say, how's Brian? I'll say, Why is your hands empty?
Yes, yes.
Like,
yes.
get back in the car and go back.
Yes, and I want to mahalo you guys for hooking me up with him, man. Oh, that was the worst thing you guys could have ever done.
Yeah, we actually apologize for that as well. Right, it's always...
Tell everybody how we can follow you and your music and we share your videos on Kapa as much as we can, but social media, tell everybody.
Yeah, so I've been trying to be more active on Instagram. My Instagram is at Mark Yamanaka, and Facebook Mark Yamanaka, and that's pretty much it. I don't use Twitter, but I'm gonna start. I think I'm gonna start posting more videos, music videos on my Instagram. I just did a Kaleohano one last weekend with my son. And
come on, Bo, TikTok, Bo. We need to have you on TikTok, Bo.
You know what? I can dance.
We need to see you.
TikTok is.
See you in Leyland.
I never get that Filipino strain, bro. The dancing strain. I never get that. I don't can dance, but yeah.
Awesome. Mark, thank you so much again for always making time to talk story with us. And we send our aloha to baby Ellie, your ohana, all the kids, and your wife.
Yeah, the whole family.
Oh, mahalo for having me. Always good fun.
Shoot, hopefully the next interview we can all pan down a little bit.